YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and we got a quick little power and speed session acceleration day today. We just finished up 4 plate sprints and a whole sprint warm-up. Had to record that on the phone, but we'll show that after here, but not a lot of audio happening there because they got soccer going on right behind us, and I trust none of them not kicking a ball into my camera. There's a whole open turf on the back end, but if you've seen the skill set, they look like me playing soccer, which I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but they could find a way to hit a broadside of a camera for sure. So we ran 4 of those sprints. We got some double broads, some super cat jumps, some really light no foot movement snatches today. 3 sets of 1 there, 3 sets of 2 there. We got some 3 sets of 2 of a power jerk, behind the neck power jerk, and then we got a 7 rep max on the bench, and it should be a fast and fun little lift before we get to Boston. Let's go. All right, we're starting off here with 3 double broad jumps. Goal is to be over 20 feet on these. Let's rip. Ooh! 19-1 to start. Oh, that was a big one. Let's go. 19-4. Oh, damn. Right at that 19-4, 19-5 mark. Felt pretty poppy on those, so let's get to some super cat jumps. All right, then we got these super cat jumps. We got 3 sets of 3 each leg, split jumps here, staying poppy, staying explosive. Let's go. Ooh, let's go, let's get to some snatches. All right, now we got 3 sets of 2 no foot snatches here at 155. It is day 4 of snatching in a row, and tomorrow we're supposed to snatch again. Not sure if we're gonna be able to get that day in because we're traveling to Boston, but if I can get to a gym this weekend, we'll rip that. So give me a little break on the weight here. It's a light technical day. Just trying to feel poppy and explosive and get a little bit of technique work done today. 6 more reps than we would have got otherwise. And again, those reps are important, but just staying in the groove of snatching over and over again has made a massive difference in when I go to snatch heavy. As long as I'm grooved, then I can actually use my strength and use my power into the bar. And if I'm not grooved, then it's just a total shit show. It's like a skill I forget so easily right now. It's kind of like a lot of skills where, like, if you're really, really good, you reach like this master level, you don't need as much work to like maintain this. I've thought about this with softball, where like the actual lazy and easy way to get really good at a sport is to put a shitload of effort in on the front end, to where you can get like unconsciously good at something, and then you don't have to maintain that. As in, if you sit in this like mediocre middle round where you're always like medium at the skill, you always have to be medium at the skill to stay medium at the skill. Whereas if you just put a shitload of effort in on the front end, you get really, really good at the skill. It's much harder to lose that skill and that mastery of that skill. And I've noticed that with softball. And obviously it's a give and take, because then you can be a little bit lazier with the skill and not be as cutting edge as you need to be when you want to reach that next level. But just to stay good at something, man, it's much easier to get really good right away and put a lot of effort right away and then be able to hold on to that skill rather than put this like middle ground effort into something like a lot of people do. So that's what we're trying to get to with these snatches. Dozier gave the tip. We have these no foot snatches. Dozier gave the tip about starting a little bit wider with the no foot snatches because your feet aren't moving to replace and to catch. So you're supposed to start in the position that you catch in. And I have never really done that before. No foot snatches are actually one of my best snatches that I have. And I felt that awkward catch position where like I'm pretty narrow and I'm like catching forward and then be able to come back up. So the pull and the connection to the bar feels really good, but the catch always feels a little bit awkward. So I really like that cue, and we're gonna try that today. A little bit wider feet here. First set here, 3 sets of 2. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. Yeah, that catch position is not much better, other than smoking my knees twice because like the pull's just a little bit different. I feel like I lose a little bit of power on that pull. That catch position, that wider feet is absolutely the right move. Let's get our second set here. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. Before this third set, got to give a special shout out to the second Italian Stallion Umberto, Henry's partner in crime. It is his 30th birthday today. My car died, my battery was out of juice this morning, couldn't get it fucking started. He came and picked me up, the intern picked the boss up on his birthday, saved the day, brought me to the gym this morning, and then helped me get my car started this morning. So, big shout out to Umberto on his birthday. Go show him some love in the comments. Let's get this last set here.
Almost there.
Big car guy, bunch of man over here. Just working on cars. Let's go. Get to some jerks. All right, now we got 3 sets of 2 power jerks here at 185. Again, pretty light on this. Light and explosive today is the key. I wanted to go over the ultimate meal prep hack, especially for the non-amazing cooks out there. And it's super simple, super easy. I know I've mentioned it before on the YouTube, but I just did it today again, and have been doing it pretty consistently this week. But just get some good fucking sauces for your food, and you can turn one base meal into like 13 different meals. Almost every single one of my meals is either ground sirloin, ground elk, ground bison, ground venison, a pound of that, either rice or sweet potatoes, and then I throw a sauce on top of that. And I'm telling you, the sauce can absolutely change what that meal is for you instead of forcing it down every time. And again, I don't even think your sauces need to be that healthy. I get if you want to go full health mode and you just want to go raw dog it, that's amazing, that's great. But there's so many people out there that just won't fucking do that. And then they just end up eating like shit, and they talk about how they don't want to put bad sauces on their food or any oils on their food because that's unhealthy, and then they'll go eat fucking McDonald's because they haven't meal prepped and they're not ready, right? So at the start of the week, cook up like 2 pounds of ground meat. Cook up a package of sweet potatoes or rice. Throw them in separate containers. When you're ready for a meal, throw some ground meat in a bowl, some of the rice and sweet potatoes in a bowl. Heat it up. Once it's heat up, put your sauce of the day on there. Yesterday was Chick-fil-A sauce. Again, I don't even think it needs to be that healthy, but I'm consuming 90% healthy food with a little bit of unhealthy sauce, and it makes me continue to eat 90% healthy food. It's an absolute hack. After a day of Chick-fil-A sauce, I'll use a day of barbecue sauce, and you can find really good, healthy barbecue sauces. My barbecue sauce pretty much has nothing in it. Then the next day, I'll do some hot sauce, and the day after, I'll use some sweet chili sauce. And in 4 sauces, I've created 4 totally different meals that taste completely different, and you never get sick of the actual health, right? So it's an absolute hack for meal prepping. It doesn't need to be super complex, and the more complex it is, especially the worse you are with your diet, the harder it's gonna be for you to stick with your diet, and it's super easy to cook. You don't need any skills. Just throw the meat in the pan, cook it up, throw the sweet potatoes and rice in the oven, and you got your meals taken care of for the week. Don't overcomplicate it unless you're a 1%er or a 1%er. Stick with the things that actually work. Stick with food that tastes good. And I bet you stick to your diets a lot better, right? So let's get this. 3 sets of 2 here. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. All right, second set here. Let's rip. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. All right, last set here, then we get to some bench. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. Let's go. All right, now we got 3 sets of 7 here on the bench press, building up to something decently heavy. Bench press hasn't been incredibly motivating for me recently, but now that we're in the off season, we got to build up a little bit more of this baby chest we got going here. Let's go. Second set here, let's go. All right, last set of 7 here. This one absolutely is going to be a send if we get this up. It's going to be a pretty good day. I was asked the question, how I'd prepare for an athlete that is 8 weeks out of camp, and my first original response is, if you're worried about the last 8 weeks before your camp, you have not prepared properly for the last 44 weeks before your camp. And typically, trying to fix that in the last 8 weeks is what ends up breaking everything. You're still going to have to slow build. You're still going to have to ramp up, especially if you haven't been doing much. And trying to get it all done in that 8 weeks is definitely going to lead to an injury. Now, obviously, working out for those 8 weeks is much better than not working out for those 8 weeks. I just know the camp panickers, as I like to call them, that just destroy themselves 8 weeks of camp, and then they either get hurt or they go into camp just feeling and moving like shit because they destroyed themselves for 8 weeks instead of just properly prepping for the all year long like they had for the camp. And it just turns into a whole thing of like having your cake and wanting to eat it too, where you didn't prep, but you want to be prepped for camp. And then I just get a lot of DMs too about people wanting to hop on a program 3 weeks before camp. It's like my camp starts in 3 weeks. I'm ready to hop on. It's like, what the fuck is those 3 weeks going to do, dude? Why didn't we start 3 months ago? And again, doing something for those 3 weeks is better than doing nothing for those 3 weeks. But man, it's just such a backwards approach. If you want to get good, you actually want to be prepped for camp, let's fucking prep you for camp and not do it all in a rush manner. So that's the old man rant to me. But if you are a prepared athlete and it's just the final 8 weeks before your camp, we're definitely spending a lot more time on the field, and we're spiking our field volume and our skill work on the field and our agility work and our sprint work on the field before camp, and we're dropping a lot of the stuff in the weight room. We're not getting rid of it, but if in, like, let's say we have a 2-hour session, if typically we're splitting 1 hour, maybe early in the off season it's like an hour 30 in the weight room, 30 minutes on the field, it's going to flip-flop when it gets to closer to camp, and it's going to be like an hour 30 on the field, 30 to 45-ish minutes in the weight room. Making sure those feet, ankles, lower extremities are ready for camp, ready for the volume of camp, and understanding what your camp is going to look like is important too. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle that doesn't go talked about enough, is we want to prepare these kids right and train them the right way. But a lot of camp is not right. A lot of camp is ass backwards. And if you don't prepare them for ass backwards, as unfortunate as it is for you to have to do it, you don't have control over that ass backwards program that they're going to. What you do have control over is making sure they're a little bit prepared for the ass backwardness they're getting themselves into. And maybe that's doing a little bit more volume on the field than you would like, and a little less weight room stuff than you traditionally like if you're looking at a correct sports science program. And that's something to think about when you're preparing for camp too. But definitely upping our field work, dropping our weight room work. Not that the weight room becomes less important, it's just that we've done all of our work up to that point to where the weight room and the strength stuff is going to stay, the hypertrophy stuff is going to stay, and we're going to maintain that. Now we're going to prepare the lower extremities for the field of play. We're going to prepare the cardiovascular system for the field of play, and we'll do a lot of combat prep stuff as well for athletes that need to have contact prep stuff in their program, like football players, rugby guys, basketball or soccer, so that they're prepared for the physical contact too. I think that's something that's not touched on enough in programs when it comes to camp, is you condition them in one sense, and then the thing they're required to do is nothing like you condition them. Just running them in tempos is decent, but being conditioned to run tempos and being conditioned to wrestle somebody on an offensive line are two very different levels of conditioning and two very different things. And I think we can prepare our athletes a little bit better for those camps. So make sure you're not just spamming those last 8 weeks and fucking yourself up. Still slow cook it. If you haven't prepared yourself, you're not going to fix it all in 8 weeks. And if you are prepared and you have spent the offseason getting bigger, faster, stronger, then just drop a little bit of weight room volume and make sure you're actually prepared for the volume you're going to see on the field of play. All right, let's get the 7 reps here. Let's go. Come on. Oh yeah, that was a pretty good 7 rep max. I'm gonna go watch the Eagles and Cowboys play in the first NFL football game of the year. Let's freaking go. Appreciate you guys watching. Keep chopping wood.